Hello everyone, welcome to another art process video. Today I am doing another Totoro keychain. If you've been following me on my YouTube channel, you know I have been on a run with doing these videos of these keychains with acrylic markers from Posca, and I'm having so much fun with it. So here is another video of me drawing another keychain that is inspired by Studio Ghibli's My Neighbor Totoro. Hopefully these videos are helpful for you in getting inspiration for your own keychains, or whether you're doing projects like, let's say, a Christmas ornament, because I think these are totally transferable skills to like other projects as well. Hopefully these videos are helpful for you for inspiration, or if you actually want to do something similar to what I'm doing. This is almost like a step-by-step process, so you can follow along, you can slow down the video and watch what I'm doing on a minute-by-minute basis and follow along and do exactly as I do if you really like the final product of what you see here. So here what I'm doing is I'm doing a round circular flask, and then I'm gonna be doing Totoro sleeping inside that flask. That is my plan. So for the brown on the top, that is actually the cork that is sealing the top of the flask. For the bulb, I'm using this blue acrylic marker from the Posca brand that's made in Japan. I picked this up at my local craft store, but you can actually pick it up in like Amazon, like many different places available. I think that acrylic markers are just so handy to have, so that like you can do a very quick project, especially if you're doing something that's very detailed. It's nice to have these markers to kind of easily maneuver through these fine details. So here I should also mention that this video is not sponsored. It's purely my artist experience with these markers. I'm a big fan of trying out different types of art supplies, and if you are an artist, you're likely a fanatic of art supplies as well, and hopefully this video will help you decide whether this is something you want to invest some time in and like some money in these Posca markers. So the reason I dived into this is because I wanted to paint on some keychains, and I wanted to do wooden keychains, and when I looked up, like googled what kind of mediums I can use on a keychain, acrylics came up. So I thought, why not? Let's try this out. I have acrylics at home, but the thing is, like, having markers just make it so much easier. It's like adult version of like Crayola markers that kids would use back in elementary school, right? So typically one of these markers I would say costs around like $4 to $7 Canadian. Really depends on where you pick it up, and also like the nib size that you're looking for. For me, for this bulb that I'm doing right now, I'm using a blue, like a sky blue color, but I can totally see myself using a white Posca marker instead for that bulb. I think it would look just as nice as well. Here I'm just painting the outline for Totoro. You can see for a lot of my artwork, I don't tend to sketch out with pencil where I want everything to be located on this art piece, but if you want to make it a little bit easier for you, you can also use like a pencil or a color pencil to kind of like draw out where the character will be. For me, like I kind of like to do this freehand, partially because I'm really lazy myself, and then I also see this as a challenge for myself as an artist to think about spatially where everything is located and leaving gaps and room for like different colors. Here, I'm having Totoro lie down inside this bulb. As I'm painting this, I'm also thinking, darn, I should have added in the white marker in the back first. I always usually paint with like lighter colors onto darker colors later. So I thought about this just now as I'm painting, and that was not a good idea. So looking back, if I have any tips, always paint from lighter to darker colors and go from background to foreground. So even though I made this mistake, no big deal. Let's move on and see how I can fix it. First, I need to wait for this layer to fully dry before adding on the white, or else the white is gonna like easily blend in with the blue, and I don't want any like murky colors. I'm also using a Sakura jelly roll, which is like an ink pen that is archival ink, meaning that it is like a permanent pen that will like dry permanently. The only thing I would suggest tips for using Sakura jelly roll is that like when you first apply it, it's still quite moist, which means that you have to be careful not to touch it or else it smudge easily, but once it dries, it's perfectly fine. So here I'm using a white outline to outline that bulb on the outside. A Sakura jelly roll is just really easy to apply just because of the nib. It's just so fine. There's different size nibs for the Sakura jelly rolls as well, so watch out for that when you're picking it up, because there will be a number on the side of the pen and they'll tell you. Most places, if you're picking up at the craft store or stationery store, they'll have a little pad of paper that you can try out the pen width or like the nib size for you to kind of figure out like what colors you like and like what width of nib you would like. So for me, I generally like to go with like a happy medium of 8, but they also have something finer like a 5 or something thicker like a 10. Here I add a bit of white randomly on the top just to show the reflection of the bulb, and I think it looks quite nice right now. Now I'm going to go back with my brown Posca marker just to kind of like outline the character itself. I'm going to have Totoro have his eyes closed and just like sleeping peacefully in this glass bulb. I think that this keychain is like just so cute. It's actually the first one that I made out of the whole collection that you've seen on my YouTube channel right now. I think out of all of the keychains that I'm doing in the series, this is probably one of the easier ones. If you're looking to just copy what I'm doing and do it step by step, I think this video is probably more reminiscent of something for beginners if you want to do the style keychain. Of course, you can also deviate from this. You can have a glass bulb with like different characters inside, your favorite character, whether it's from like a Studio Ghibli movie, it could be from another anime, or it could be like from like your favorite character that you created yourself. I think there's just so many options, and like the sky is the limit. That's why I really love doing projects like this on YouTube, because I think hopefully, at least for myself, I get inspired by other people's work, and hopefully I can pay it forward, and you'll find this helpful when you're stuck in terms of an art block and you don't know where to draw. This could be a great place to start. So here, my brown marker, I'm just laying out where his eyes are and then like outlining his feet. He just looks so cute. I can see this hanging on my backpack or my tote bag. Afterwards, I will put a seal on it, so hopefully it'll keep the integrity of the artwork over time. I'm a little bit worried about like scratches that will happen, especially if you're hanging on like your backpack, and I don't tend to baby my backpacks, so I'm hoping that like the keychain won't be totally damaged through this process. So I'm going to test that out as well. So going back with my white Sakura jelly roll, I'm going to add a little bit of highlights and shine to Totoro himself, so some of the features will stand out. Of course, if you like, you can also do like a Totoro of different color shading and like do a whole collection. I can see like one that's blue, purple, orange, red, and like could be like representation of like different emotions or like different themes. Like if you're a Virgo or Pisces, you can have like different ones for like all your friends. You can personalize one for a Christmas present. I just feel like there's just so many ways to play around with this art project. Now I'm almost wrapped up with a piece. For this piece, I actually used a Sakura jelly roll to highlight the tummy itself. But I think retrospectively thinking back, it's probably a better idea to use a Posca acrylic marker just so it's more consistent. And also for the Sakura jelly roll, because the nib is so fine, I find that I have to go back and forth quite a few times, whereas the nibs are a little bit thicker for the acrylic marker from Posca. I feel like it's better to go with like larger nibs if you're coloring larger spaces. But for me, this is like a trial and error, and like I mentioned, this is my first one, and that's how it looked like. I think it's so majorly cute, and I'll show you some of the other ones I worked on. Thank you so much for joining me on this video on this Totoro keychain that I'm working on. So if you're interested, check out some of my other videos, and hopefully I will see you next time. Take care and stay creative, everyone. Bye for now.